Feeling lucky? Some people believe that a four-leaf clover will bring them good luck, but finding one is pretty rare, about 1 in 10,000. Don't like those odds? Well, don't try poker. The odds of getting an ace-high royal flush are about 649,739 to 1. Not a good gamble. And don't even think about playing the lottery. The odds of winning that are about 14 million to 1. What a waste. How about these odds? Scientists tell us that the building blocks of life are amazingly complex. Basic life needs a minimum of 200 proteins, each of which can have anywhere from 20 to many thousands of amino acids that must be present and in the correct order. That's about 1 in a trillion chance for basic life to exist. You'd have a better chance of being struck by lightning or attacked by a shark. And yet we see the wonder of life all around us because our Creator designed every detail of every living thing, all with great purpose. Nothing was left to chance. So maybe you'd better forget about gambling on the lottery or cards or even hunting for that elusive four-leaf clover. The odds are not in your favor. Better to bank on the marvelous life God gave you, which He called very good. Scientists have been looking for the Goldilocks planet for years. The name obviously comes from the popular Goldilocks fairy tale. Now, the Goldilocks idea, much like the fairy tale, is all about finding a planet that's just right for life. But finding the right planet is harder than you might think, especially when you think about how special the Earth is. Earth is the only known planet in our universe that can support life. Earth has water, animals, and people, all necessary to support life. Earth is just the right distance from the sun. If we were any closer, it'd be too hot, and if we were any further, we'd be freezing. The Earth also has just enough gravity to support an atmosphere, and yet not so much as to crush us. Take any other planet. Mars has a very thin, unbreathable atmosphere of carbon dioxide. Venus has a thick, crushing atmosphere with clouds of sulfuric acid, and Mercury is just way too hot. Not too hot and not too cold, not too heavy or too light, but just right for life, as created by a loving God. Having your picnic ruined by an invasion of ants is no fun, and neither is stepping on a fire ant hill. But these little creatures are programmed with amazing attributes that scientists are now learning from. Ants are orderly. Researchers found that ant colonies operate using a mathematical algorithm similar to what we use in internet data management. This helps ants to avoid traffic jams and food storage problems, like overstocking. Ants are smart. Scientists have discovered an amazing puzzle-solving ability in ants. In one study, ants were placed in a maze which has traditionally stumped many people. Once the ants solved the puzzle, they communicated the solution to others in the colony. Ants are team players. In another study, information overload was evident when individual ants attempted to choose a nest site. But groups of ants easily handled the task and made better decisions. Of course, ants don't go to school to learn these behaviors, so how did they become so capable? From an all-knowing, all-powerful creator who programmed these keen abilities into the ant, as he did with every other living creature on Earth. As we fly to see family over the holidays or to take a relaxing vacation, we often fail to remember the marvel of the airplane. In 1485, Leonardo da Vinci first dreamed up a flying machine, which he called an ornithopter. His theory featured a rod and pulley system that the pilot would use to make the wings flap. It wasn't until 1903 that the famous brothers Orville and Wilbur Wright designed and successfully flew the first heavier-than-air aircraft. Their inspiration actually came from studying the mechanics of pigeon wings in flight. The invention of airplanes is an awesome example of biomimicry, humans copying God's design. Researchers have studied how bees land in order to design better landings for aircraft, and scientists have analyzed scales of the African polypterus fish in an effort to design lighter and stronger body armor. Gecko eyes are about 350 times more sensitive than human eyes and can see color in the dark. These incredible visual processors may offer clues to improving night vision camera technology. Bionic hands have been studied by engineers as a way to duplicate the human hand. But while much progress has been made, machines still aren't as good as hands built by the ultimate architect. Ironically, when inventions are copied from nature, designers often credit their inspiration to processes that just happened over millions of years. They fail to recognize God's amazing design and creation. But as we understand God's unsurpassable creativity, His invisible attributes are clearly seen. Perhaps no tool in the world is as versatile and useful as the human hand. Its details constantly display real design. For example, finger bone lengths follow the proportions of the Fibonacci number sequence. The sum of the smallest two segments of a finger equals the length of the third, and the sum of the second and third equals the length of the fourth bone. Your hand is a mobile golden spiral, perfectly balancing strength and dexterity. Also, extended fingers squeezed against one another show the offset knuckles meshing. If knuckles lined up, they'd rub uncomfortably and space fingers too far apart. Muscles that control the hand actually reside in the forearm instead of the palm, leaving space to hold an object or another person's hand. A large amount of your brain is dedicated to controlling hand muscles. This means that grip control combinations are nearly infinite and remarkably versatile. For example, a construction worker can easily curl 3 fingers around a bucket handle in a loose endurance grip. At the same time, his thumb can press a note card tight to his index finger, while his pinky hooks a plastic sack. Simultaneously, his other hand can curl its last 3 fingers and press the palm firm over the fingertips, locked in a power grip to carry a heavy hammer, while the thumb and index finger gently pluck up a potato chip without crushing it. And how do people type so fast? The brain plans finger movements 3 actions ahead of time. Intervals between keystrokes are often as brief as 60 thousandths of a second. So it makes sense for the Lord Jesus to use the skill, strength, and awesome connecting power of our hands to express His love. He promises that His hands will guide, uphold, and faithfully keep His own in His powerful grip. We use computers so much that it's easy to forget that they've only been around for about 70 years. Konrad Zuse invented the world's first working computer, the Z3, in 1941. The German Aircraft Research Institute used it to test wing aerodynamics, but it was destroyed when Allies bombed Berlin in 1943. Since then, computers have changed our lives completely. For instance, a basic cell phone today has more processing power and costs much less than the Apollo guidance computer, which was used in the Apollo 11 moon mission in 1969. Today, computers are used just about everywhere, at home, at work, at school, and even when we travel. And with all that computing, companies are always looking for better technology. Recently, IBM funded a project to develop the world's fastest computer. Called the Sequoia, this high-speed computer was modeled after the human brain, the ultimate in computing power. At IBM, the engineers made 2 computer chips that contained about 65,000 electronic synapses, which are like the connections between nerve cells in our brain. That's impressive, but just one brain has billions of nerve cells connected through trillions of synapses. Yes, the most brilliantly engineered machines cannot even come close to the complexity and construction of the human brain, which only a divine engineer could have made.